Making Nouns and Adjectives Plural, Spanish 1, Chapter 1b. We are now going to learn how to make nouns and adjectives plural. You guys have a corresponding worksheet that goes along with this video. Please make sure that you are filling it out as you are watching. Feel free to pause the video at any time in order to write down the notes. So up until now, we have learned a few different things. So we have learned the singular and the plural definite and indefinite articles. So that means el, la, los, las, and un, una, unos, and unas. We have also learned about the gender of nouns and how to identify the gender. So remember when we were talking about nouns, every single noun has to have a gender, so it can be masculine or feminine. The way we identify the gender is by looking at the last letter or the last two letters. So remember, if it ends in the letters D, N, A, or AS, then it is feminine. And if it ends in O or OS or any other consonant, then it is masculine. So building off of that, we then learned about the gender of adjectives and that adjectives need to match the gender of the noun in which they are describing. So looking at our vocabulary words, a lot of our adjectives ended in the letter O. So if our noun was masculine, we could leave the O at the end. But if our noun is feminine, then we need to change that O to an A. And remember, if it ends in an E, then it is gender neutral, so you don't need to do anything to it in order to match the gender. So one rule that's really important, and you only learned half of it up until now, is that nouns and adjectives must agree in both gender and number. So up until now, we have only been practicing nouns and adjectives agreeing in gender, but today we're going to add number to the mix. So we are going to learn how to make our nouns and our adjectives plural. We've talked about this a little bit before, but today we're going to go into depth, and I'm going to give you a few different rules to help you guys determine how to make that noun or that adjective plural. So again, the most important thing is that our nouns and our adjectives need to agree in both gender and in number. So let's take a look at our rules. So we have 3 different rules. So the first one, if the noun or the adjective ends in a vowel, so A, E, I, O, or U, you are going to add the letter S to the end. I then provide 3 different examples for you. Looking at the first one, we were just talking about the noun. So we have la silla, or the chair. So we are now going to say las sillas. Since it ends in an A, which is a vowel, all we need to do is add an S to the end. Our next one is el chico desordenado. So these are all vocabulary words. We are talking about the unorganized boy. So in order to make this plural, we need to look at our ending. So for chico, it ends in an O. So all we need to do is add an S to the end. And same thing as desordenado. But remember, we also need to change our definite article el and make that plural as well. So we are now going to have los chicos desordenados. Our last vowel example is la chica sociable. Again, this has a noun and an adjective. So looking at our noun, la chica, or the girl, chica ends in an A, which is a vowel. So all we need to do to make it plural is add an S to the end. Now we need to look at our adjective, sociable. It ends in an E. E is also a vowel, so all we are going to do is add an S. We are also going to change la to the plural form, which would be las. So la chica sociable changes to las chicas sociables. Our next rule is if it ends in a consonant. So if our noun or our adjective ends in a consonant, we are going to add es to the end. So again, I provide you an example of just a noun and then a noun and an adjective. So let's look at those examples. We have el cartel, meaning the poster, and we want to say the posters, plural. So if we look at the last letter of cartel, it is an L, so that means it's a consonant. We need to add es to the end. So cartel is going to change to carteles. Now we go back and look at our definite article. The singular form is el. So now we need the plural masculine form, which is los. So el cartel, the poster, changes to los carteles, or the posters. Our next example has both a noun and an adjective from this chapter. El chico, the boy, and trabajador, meaning hardworking. So we're talking about the hardworking boy. So now we want to say the hardworking boys. So we're going to start at the beginning of this example. El is our definite article in a singular masculine form. We want to change it to be in the plural masculine form. So el is going to change to los. Our next word, chico, which is a noun, ends in an O. So we need to think about it. What are we going to do? O is a vowel. So all we need to do there is add an S. So chico changes to chicos. Now we get to our adjective, trabajador. Trabajador ends in an R. So R is a consonant, therefore we need to add es to the end. So trabajadores. So el chico trabajador changes to los chicos trabajadores. Our last example, or our last rule, I should say, is if it ends in a Z, you are going to change that Z to a C and then add ES. So again, there's not a lot of these, but it is something that you need to know about. So if it ends in a Z, you are going to change the Z to a C, and C is a consonant, so you will then add ES to the end. So the most common example of this is el lápiz, or the pencil. So if we were going to make it plural and talk about the pencils, el is going to change to los, and then the Z will change to a C, and we will add ES to the end. So el lápiz turns to los lápices. So those are our 3 rules for making nouns or adjectives plural. So they are very important. Remember, if it's a vowel, you just add S. Consonant, you add ES, and Z to C, and add ES to the end of that. So something important is that you guys don't forget to make your articles plural as well. So we will quickly go over these. Our definite articles are up first. So el changes to los, and la changes to las. We then have our indefinite articles. So un goes to unos, and una goes to unas. Our last page is some examples. So you guys have these on your worksheet already. What I want you guys to do is to pause the video at this time. I want you to look at those examples, and I want you to try it on your own and to make those plural. So using the rules that you just learned, I want you to make those different examples plural. Down at the bottom, you'll notice the last 3, I give you an adjective in parentheses. So just keep in mind that when I give you an adjective, it will always be in the singular masculine form. So you might need to change it based off of what the noun is before it. So at this time, you may go ahead, pause this video, and complete the examples by yourself. We are now going to go over the examples. So first one, una clase, we are going to make it plural. So una changes to unas, and clase ends in an E, which is a vowel, so we're just going to add S. So una clase turns into unas clases. Our next example is el cuaderno. So remember, el changes to los, and cuaderno ends in an O. So that is a vowel, meaning we're going to add S to the end. So we'll change to los cuadernos. Number 3, we have el reloj. So el again changes to los, and reloj ends in a J, which is a consonant, so we're going to add ES to the end. So los relojes. Number 4, we have un chico en perezoso. So you want to say a lazy boy, and we are going to change that to some lazy boys. So looking at it, un will change to unos. Chico ends in an O, which is a vowel, therefore we will add S to the end. And then looking at perezoso, it is already in the singular masculine form, so we just need to make it plural. So it will become perezosos. We will add an S to the end. So notice my adjective is masculine and plural. My noun is masculine and plural. And now my indefinite article is masculine and plural. So all of those agree with one another. Number 5, we have una chica estudioso. So we have a girl in the word for studious. So we want to say some studious girls. So una is going to change to unas. Chica ends in an A, which is a vowel, so we will add an S to the end. So we have unas chicas. Now looking at our adjective estudioso, it is ending in an O, which tells us as of right now, it's masculine and singular. So we need to make it plural and feminine. So first step is we're going to change that O to an A, and then we're going to add S to the end. So now all of it agrees. Unas chicas estudiosas. And our last one, we have un chico, and our adjective is inteligente. So we're going to change un chico to the plural form. So it's going to be unos chicos. And then we have our adjective inteligente. So remember, if it ends in an E, gender neutral, so it's easy for us. However, this one is in the singular form, and we need to make it in the plural form so that it agrees with everything. So all we need to do is add an S. So we're now going to say unos chicos inteligentes. Hopefully you got some of the examples correct, if not all of them, but we are going to continue reviewing and practicing with adjective noun agreement and the plural form.